Yeah. Bandeli L in the house. Aqua Ghana. Bitcoin ballin'. Bring it to you raw. Here we go. Here we go. Bitcoin ballin', gonna chat callin', what you need, baby, I got you. Bitcoin ballin', act where we all in. It's our time, no more sleeping.
I think that's what gets me in the song. So we actually we met this gentleman who was behind the song in Miami. Super cool guy. He was a dude in all orange, all decked out in Bitcoin gear. Bandela L. If you're watching, we love your music, and we're using it on our intro. What is going on, crypto fam? Happy 420 to all you potheads out there. Also, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I'm one of your co-hosts, David. Welcome to Sin City Crypto Live. We are coming at you from our studio here in Sin City, Nevada. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that's said on this channel should or will be taken as financial advice, so please do your own research. With that being said, I want to throw it over to my co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do the live streams. We also do the deep dives. Just the live stream, make sure you check out the deep dives. Speaking of deep dives, we just put up our newest deep dive.
Yeah.
Crypto.com.
Yeah.
We launched it this morning.
Yes.
If you had a chance to watch it, drop in the chat what your thoughts were. On a scale of 1 to 10.
No, scale of 1 to 4.
1 to 4?
Yeah.
How did you, a scale of 1 to 4, how did you like our video?
Did you enjoy it? Be honest.
Put a 0 if you haven't even watched it, so that way we can make fun of you. Yeah. And then, if you could, do us a solid. Like the video. We're gonna give you guys time to like the video before we move on. So if you haven't liked the video yet, this is your opportunity. Yes. This is your chance.
Yes.
This is
you only get
your
one
moment.
Chance, not miss your chance, or however the Eminem sang that song. That's probably copywritten too. So many copyright issues, man.
Yeah.
If you ever start, Sean, if you're watching, I know Sean's been trying to start his YouTube channel. Understand copyright and what you can and can't use. There's so much shit out there.
That's right. And we're 3 people shy of fulfilling all of our likes in the chat. I don't know.
Brokey Yoshi said he liked the deep dive. He said the only thing missing was Matt Damon clip from the Team America movie. Probably copywritten.
Absolutely copywritten.
So yeah, we did have to make some adjustments to our video, but either way, it came out pretty good. So moving forward, every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Vegas time, you will see a deep dive video from us. Next on the slate is one of our favorite projects. Not going to give it away, but next Wednesday. So every Wednesday. So I got to ping the bell notification. Did you tell everyone to subscribe? What the hell wrong with you? And
I gave them time to like the video.
Okay.
Right. If you ain't subscribed yet, what the hell wrong with you? And if we got the audio turned on our desktop making weird noises, what the hell wrong with you? All right. So, how you feeling today, David?
Man, I'm feeling juicy.
You know what?
Today
is 420, bro.
Today's 420.
You know, it's the self-proclaimed holiday of the stoner.
Yes.
And
Stoners.
That's right.
If you're a stoner, put a 1 in the chat.
I just realized that the camera is crooked on me.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Who's our audio? Who's our equipment guy?
Yeah.
Acceptable.
Anyways, so
it's okay, bro. You still look good.
What's Bitcoin at?
Camera's crooked on me. What's Bitcoin at?
What's Bitcoin at? All right, so
let's take a look, man. Let's take a gander.
Oh, actually, real quick, we'll keep an eye on this real quick. But just a quick shout out in the chat. Here we go. We got Olga first in the chat. Congratulations to you. You win ear hugs. And then also we got Brokey Yoshi up in the crib. We got AZ from AZ. We got Russell. We got HP. Will in here. And then
Chef.
I think that's it. Oh, Nishan's up in here. Oh, Marky Mark.
So he was, I believe Mark's a new subscriber.
He is. He hasn't been here for the live show. So, Mark, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto, the live show.
Yes.
Now, I think that's all we got.
Mark Wahlberg's nickname?
Yeah.
Are you Mark
It's
Wahlberg?
not his nickname. It was Marky Mark was his band. So Marky Mark and the something bunch,
Marky Mark
like
and
the
the
Funky
Marky
Bunch or something like that. Yeah, man. Back in the day,
Alex. Who's Alex? I don't think Alex has been here before.
Alex, where's Alex at? Oh, there he is. Alex. Hola! Welcome. Sin City Crypto.
Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video.
Okay, so back to Bitcoin. Where are we at? So we're still sitting in this little 41,000. Been there for almost 2 days now. We had the big psych out. There's been this big narrative, and the analytics also follow this narrative, and it's that Bitcoin is coming off exchanges, and people are starting to hodl, and not just buy it on Coinbase and then just hopefully it goes up. No, they're actually buying it, and they're like, you know what, this is my future, this is my investment, this is my retirement, and they're removing it from exchanges. And that is happening at a higher frequency, and the analytics prove it. And so I think the times of sub 40,000 are gone. Now I think we're gonna get down.
Times?
I think.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Okay.
I do believe we'll get pullbacks. I do believe we'll be back down to 34,000. We'll be back down to 35,000. I just don't think it's going to happen for any prolonged period of time. I was kind of in the camp where, hey, if we go through this like consolidation / bear market of sort, then 30,000 would probably be where you'd stay at. Now, general consensus is, yeah, that probably would hold true. However, I don't think it's going to happen for any long period of time. I think 40,000 is probably where we'll consolidate, and I think the mid 30,000 will be the pullback region, will be the zone of support, and I don't see us going under 30,000 anymore. This is my personal opinion. I know you differ, but my personal opinion, I think 30,000 is the ultimate floor. I've been saying that for probably 6 to 7 months now, and I think 40,000 is more or less the real support zone. I think that's where we're gonna kind of just hang out. But we'll get days under 40,000 in my opinion. But I don't see us going under 30. I don't see the 28, the 27, 22, the 18, the 17 that people keep talking about. I think this is where we're at. And I mean, if you look at the 3-month chart, I mean, look, we are almost at the same spot we were 3 months ago. And these pullbacks here, you're getting higher lows. So here we're at 34,000, and then we had a run up. The next pullback, we had 35,000, then we had a run up. Then the next pullback, we're at 38,000. Then we had a run up. Then we had the next pullback, 40,000. Now we have a run up. So just off of the sheer trend, higher lows, and essentially slightly higher highs, but higher lows. That's the key here. And I mean, you can even do this with the 1 year chart. And so here, we hit 30,000. So in the span of a year, and this is why I'm so set on this 30,000 mark. I mean, look, we touched 30,000 one time in the last 12 months. And so if that doesn't support my narrative, I don't know what else does. And if you take a look at, you take it even longer, say we go to the all time, and we pull this thing back to the beginning of the bear market. I mean, the beginning of this bull run that we had. So here we have, so since the beginning of 2021, so over a year and a half, we only hit 30,000 once. So just think of that. Since 2021, we've only hit 30,000 one time. That's from the start of January 2021, we hit 30,000 once. And so for that reason, I don't see us going under 30,000.
There's just so much uncertainty in the world economic landscape that you got talks about recession. You got talks
Yeah,
about
and
everything.
I do believe we'll be under 40,000. I do think that we'll probably trade for a short window between the 32 or 33,000 to 40,000. I think that is likely. I just don't see us going under 30. I think the days of 30 are gone, bro. That's just my consensus. Now, so anyways, get your Bitcoin now.
Here's the beauty of crypto and Bitcoin, right? If it goes up, you're happy because you make money. If it goes down, you're also happy because you can buy more.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Now, Ethereum, over the $3,000 mark, it was trading below. So huge support / resistance as of now. It's been flip flopping, but as long as you don't get a big pullback in Bitcoin, Ethereum is gonna just bounce off this 3,000 number. So a great time to buy. Even if you do get a pullback, what's it gonna pull back to? $2,800. We all believe in the vision of Ethereum. At least me and David and the team here. So it's the #1 smart contract platform by a mile.
Yeah.
And they're upgrading and they're getting faster, more efficient, cheaper. They're scaling. They've been around. They've been, the network's been tested. They've tried to hack this thing a million times. And not to say that it hasn't had its vulnerability issues, but pretty secure now. So I feel safe going, investing in this myself, not investment advice, but where I'm putting my own personal money. Bitcoin, Ethereum is pretty much the lion's share. Now, taking a look at the crypto bubbles. All right, so this is where we're at today. We got a big run up on this ape coin. 21% up for the day. The ape coin. People are straight aping into this. We showcased it on our thumbnail. The day of the 420. We broke all-time highs. So if you want to get high on ape coin, 420 is the day to do it.
Don't get high on your own supply. Probably copywritten.
All right.
Gonna be a topic for me.
Speaking
today.
of high, you got a high button on your shirt there.
Well,
Here's the
I'm
thing.
channeling
Okay,
my inner-
wait a second. Let me tell you something. If you're gonna go polo, you never go top button, bro.
Listen to me.
You never go top button.
Listen to me, fool. You know what they say, right? They say the higher the socks, the downer the fool. So that's it.
I don't even know what the hell you said.
Well, I have a lot of Hispanic friends, right? And they've taught me things. Like, you want to look official, you got to have that top button up. You want
No, you don't go top button, bro. You don't go top button.
You want to see chest hair? Here.
It's just like your mid tops.
There.
Your mid
That
tops.
what you wanna see?
Please don't. Why don't you wear an undershirt like normal people?
Don't worry about undershirt.
So,
Why don't you worry about getting another jacket?
you don't like this Adidas jacket?
Oh, it's not the Raider jacket. Oh, okay. So you have 2 jackets. Sorry, 3 jackets. Anyways, so Robin,
¿Qué pasa?
let me ask you a question.
What's up? No more bubbles? So crypto bubbles.
I wanted to ask you about the bubbles.
What's that? What kind of bubbles?
Can you? So that year, is that year to date or is that over the last?
Yeah, this is in the year to date, the last 12 months.
No, year to date is from January of this year. So this is a year from today,
Year
right?
to date. Break down what year to date. Like break down the words.
Year to date is January 2022 till now. That's year to date. YTD.
Okay. Before you start thinking of the definition, what is think of the words. Separate the words. Year to
Date.
date. What does date mean? Today's
This year.
date.
Year to date.
No,
The
that would
year
be
to this date.
2022.
YTD, year to date, is from the beginning of the year until whatever time you're at.
Why would they say date?
Bro, trust me on this one. Year to date is from January of this year until now. The yearly chart is from a year ago from today. So if you're looking at
Eddie,
the
what do
year
you
chart,
think? What do you think?
it's
year
April
to
20
date.
Bro,
Year to date
there is
is-
a 0% chance I'm wrong. I'm telling you. I'm right.
So you're saying it's from the beginning of the year to today's date?
Correct.
I think year to date is
Eddie, pull up my laptop. Let me put Robin on game here. Okay, so 1 year, okay? 4/24/21 till now. YTD,
I
year
get-
to date. What's that date there, Robin? January 1st, 2022. Thank you.
You know what? You and CoinMarketCap are both wrong. Okay?
You're so this guy. It's okay, bro. I love you. You know, you're a smart man. You can't know everything. That's what I'm here for, my friend.
Okay.
I'm here to fill in your gaps.
So,
Because your intelligence obviously isn't air gapped, and neither is your throat. Because thank you. You see, you know, not only do you learn about cryptocurrency, you also learn about what year to date means here at Sin City Crypto. You all right over there?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
All
good. Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 27.
Oh, so it went up. No, same.
Yeah, same as yesterday. So still in the fear. I think people are still expecting a pullback. I expect a pullback. I think I don't see us trading over 40,000 for the next couple of weeks.
This is typically a lagging indicator.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have some kind of pullback and then bounce right back up over 40. But that's my hopes because I told you I got some stable coins sitting on the side,
You did.
ready for some Bitcoin buy, and starting to question myself now. Taking a look at the traditional markets, Nasdaq down 0.5%, S&P 500 up 0.5%, and Dow Jones up 1%. So Nasdaq does tend to follow the tech stocks, and also seems to be more or less correlated with the movement of Bitcoin more so than the other ones. But you know what? You know, with that said, you did have a pullback this morning. The same time that if you take a look at Bitcoin, the same time Wall Street opened up and Dow Jones went down. So did Bitcoin. So just another example of how taking a vibe from the market. You know what? Do we have an article on the interest rate by the Fed rate hike?
No.
So there's some buzz going around. I did catch some articles out there that you have a proposed 75 basis points, so 0.75% interest rate hike on the table at the next Fed meeting where they're gonna propose a interest rate hike.
75 basis points.
So yeah, we're gonna go from where are we at right now? Is that 0.5%?
We're at half, yeah.
Yeah, 0.5%. So, oh man, that's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
Now, if that happens, I do think we'll have a major pullback in Wall Street, which could probably pull back on crypto as well.
Here's the thing. Everything, you know, when there's uncertainty in the world as far as money and economics, everything pulls back. But you gotta remember what sectors are the first to bounce back. And cryptocurrency historically has not only bounced back faster, but has regained the value it lost way quicker than S&P, any stock, Tesla, whatever you want to say. So typically when you lose a percentage, you got to double that just to get to even. So Bitcoin's down 50%. You got to get to 100% just to break even. I mean, how long would it take if Apple stock went down 30%? How long would it take for Apple to get up 60%? I mean, think about it that way. Weed and Leafy, 2 cannabis IPOs today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got there. So,
Did you go over gold?
I did not go over gold. I don't
Did you go
care
over
about
palladium.
I don't care about gold.
No.
I will look at palladium.
Don't go over palladium, please. All right. We are moving on to our next segment of our show, the hot take.
It's hot.
So the hot take for today is as follows. How would a recession affect Bitcoin miners and the Bitcoin hash rate? So there was an article I read talks about how with inflation and currently with war, energy prices tend to skyrocket. So that could possibly negatively affect the Bitcoin miners, the profits they're making, and the Bitcoin hash rate in return. So if we go into a recession, which a lot of economists are saying is on the horizon, what kind of impact would that have on Bitcoin mining and the hash rate? Robin, I'm going to send it over to you first.
Well, you know what? These companies are open for business. They're publicly traded companies. They're open for business. This is what they do. This is their own business model. This isn't somebody sitting in their apartment mining. This isn't Ethereum. This is Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, publicly traded companies, they got profit and loss statements. They need to deliver. So they can't just all of a sudden be like, oh, crap, there's a recession. We need to close up business. Like, that's not really how it works. They have investors, board meetings. The only thing that a recession could really influence a miner, essentially, is if there was a recession and it pulled down all markets, including cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the price of Bitcoin dropped down to 18,000, like David says. Yeah. If that were to happen, but yet the hash rate stays in the same zone that it is now, so the difficulty to mine Bitcoin is somewhat the same, but the price of Bitcoin goes down, then you're spending the same amount of computing power to mine Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin that you're mining isn't worth as much. And so from a profit and loss kind of perspective, your margins are pretty small. You have the cost of electricity, you have the cost of doing business, of the loans that you take out to buy the mining units. And if the profit, if you're not making a profit because the price of Bitcoin is so low and your energy usage and the capital that you're generating doesn't cover costs, then at that point you're a net negative. But doesn't mean that the company's going to shut down. I mean, you might turn off some units, you might slow down your mining. Could be one thing, or
which could negatively affect the hash rate, right?
Yes, but
I'm not saying it's going to shut it down.
So here's the thing: most of the big mining companies, they're not all centralized into one warehouse, so they're spread out. So they're in certain areas that have different energy costs. So if you're in Texas, your facility there might be, that one facility might be super cheap. And then you might have one that is in a different area that the energy cost is a little bit more so, is more than say compared to Texas. So you might be losing money operating your mining rigs in a certain area due to the energy cost. So you might shut that one off. But honestly, the miners also have this hodl mentality. They're not taking the Bitcoin that they mine and turning around and selling it the day of. So
sometimes they have to.
I didn't say they never do. I just said, generally speaking, they don't. And the largest companies, they work out deals with the exchanges and they sell them that way. Other ones, they use mining pools. You have the F2, which is the largest mining pool. They also buy and sell. And the F2 pool, they'll sell their Bitcoin when Bitcoin's at all-time high. So they're actually the number one contributor to market manipulation, because you have the guys that are mining Bitcoin from multiple different miners, and they take all their Bitcoin and they find advantageous windows to sell where they know it's overvalued, and they'll sell, and then in turn they'll dump the market. And so
there's going to come an inflection point where, we're in a recession. Energy prices are up. Inflation is running rampant. And if you have Bitcoin in the mid to low 20,000s, as a miner, as Core Scientific, Marathon, Riot, these large companies who probably have daily overhead costs into hundreds of thousands, I would assume. Now, I don't know right off the top of my head. I don't know if Robin knows either. But it's going to come to a point where you're going to say, okay, our profit, the money we're bringing in from this Bitcoin mining has been literally cut in half, right? If we go to 20,000 from 40,000. Energy prices are high. Inflation is running rampant. The money is worth less. Do we have to unplug half of our ASIC units? Do we have to shut down for a day or two? You just don't know. So I think in the short term, it will definitely affect the hash rate of Bitcoin. But in the long term, like Bitcoin always does, it'll bounce back. So will the hash rate. So will the miners. But that also might be a good thing. You never know. I believe there's always something good that comes out of every situation. You might not see it at the moment, but eventually something good will come out of it. And maybe, if the recession happens and Bitcoin drops to 20K, blah, 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 blah.
I don't see a correlation between the two, in my opinion. Because here's the thing: if you turn off your mining units, if you turn off your ASICs, then the company below you is going to keep mining, and they're gonna earn the rewards. And then in turn, if they're okay by holding Bitcoin for 3 months before they bounces back, then that's what's going to happen. And so the miners have not by majority, they have not turned off their ASIC units when the price dips. They just keep mining. They just don't sell it when the price dips. That's the only difference. So if you're a well-run company that is surviving off commodities, it's no different than gold. If you're mining gold and the price of gold dips down, you're not going to sell your gold that day. You're going to sell your gold when the price of gold goes up. It's the same as Bitcoin. It's the same with oil. Like if you're an oil refinery and you obviously you're exporting X amount every day, but if you have a lot on reserves and you're a well-run company, you're not going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And so these people, they can survive. These are massive multi-billion-dollar companies. Just because the price of Bitcoin goes down for a month, they're fine, bro. They could literally probably not sell Bitcoin for a year, and they could just leverage more debt until the price of Bitcoin jumps back up.
I guess we'll find out which one of these Bitcoin mining companies are the most financially responsible. As we'll see. If you start hearing people turning off their ASICs, they're not good with money because they didn't save enough money.
But it'll just go to the next guy. If Core Scientific turns off their miners, then a Marathon will just scoop up the extra Bitcoin. That's it. Is it real? So for me, I don't see at this point. The only thing that I see happening with the hash rate is that it won't grow. If there is a recession, you won't have big companies going out and buying, $10 billion worth of mining units. They're going to be like, okay, let's pause on this. So I don't see, I could see a pause in the hash rate, but I don't see it going down. Not in my opinion.
And the not buying of ASICs might be a good thing. Might help us catch up on the supply chain issue we're having with these graphics cards and palladium. No, what's the one element they use in all of it that's super...
There's gold. There's lithium.
Lithium
is the batteries, but not in the miners. So it's just gold. And then it's just a chip shortage. So all of these chips are manufactured in like Taiwan and China. They're starting. They had the $1 trillion bill that got passed by Biden, that the infrastructure technology bill or whatever it is. They were allocating a lot of that money to the development of chip production here in the U.S. So, yeah.
Either way, something good will come out of it. Either way. All right, we're moving on. Shit, there was something I was gonna say. I forgot. All right, let's move on to our very next segment, the talking points, the mucho caliente, the talking points. So we talk about the IMF all the time, the International Monetary Fund. When they're upsetting me, the International MRFers. So good news coming out of them as they released their stability report. So if you pull up my laptop, Eduardo, IMF Global Financial Stability Report sees complex roles for cryptocurrency and DeFi. According to the International Monetary Fund's Global Financial Stability Report released Tuesday, the war in Ukraine, following hard on the heels of the coronavirus pandemic, has led to a tightening of global financial conditions. Rapid changes in fintech and the uses and misuses of cryptocurrency play into the jumble of challenges facing the global economy. According to the report, the pandemic and war have led to an accelerated, quote, cryptoization in emerging markets due to increased speculative interest during the pandemic and then attempts to evade sanctions. The use of cryptocurrency to evade sanctions is impractical, the report found. Interesting. The use of mixers, decentralized exchanges, and privacy coins may allow some circumvention, but it would be restricted by limited liquidity, which is what Robin talks about all the time. He talked about this on BitBoy's channel. Even if you're using these mixers, even if you're using the Tornado Cash, there's just not enough liquidity to pull off something as big as a country evading sanctions. A related risk is the use by sanctioned countries of excess energy, possibly built up because of the sanctions, to mine proof-of-work cryptocurrencies. So they're essentially saying that the sanctioned countries who, like, let's say Russia, for example, all the energy they provide for countries across the world, if they're no longer allowed to export that energy, well, then they can turn around and use that energy to mine Bitcoin and make money that way, which would essentially null and void the economic sanctions used to put pressure on a country like Russia to change their tactics. Right here, countries concerned about coming under sanctions in the future may come to find crypto more attractive as reserve currency, thanks to the greater difficulty in immobilizing crypto. So a lot in this article, Robin. What are your initial thoughts? What are some takeaways for you?
I don't like the IMF. They're bullies, and they're old money.
Sounds like they're turning to the crypto side.
They're aware of crypto, but they're haters on Bitcoin's adoption. They're haters on crypto's adoption, and this is just them saying, "Crypto, we see you. We see you." That's what I got from it. And you know what? They've pushed back on El Salvador with their Bitcoin adoption. They've basically shut them out. Did we do our bond article on?
Yeah, it's coming up.
So yeah, they're bullies, man. They want you to play ball with them. And it's all fine and dandy for the big countries because at that point you have the leverage to play ball. You're like, hey, we're the U.S. We're the number one economy. This is what we want. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, well, you're plugged into our system and you're our best customer. But who gets the short end of the stick is these smaller governments. The ones that want, like the El Salvador, the Honduras, the South American companies.
Some of them rely on the IMF for funding.
Yeah. It's not some of them; they all rely. Yeah. So basically, like what you do is, if you want to raise money, you borrow money from other countries, and you do it through. You kind of do it through the IMF. And what you do is you issue bonds, they buy them out, or they facilitate the bond payments between countries. And so that's how that works. And so tons of corruption, manipulation, and favoritism. And the people that benefit from this are the top countries. And then everyone else is on the outside looking in. And then when you get a country like El Salvador, which we'll discuss in a little more detail, but when they decide to break out of the system, they get shunned and they're like, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going?
Yeah.
So I don't like the IMF, man.
Well, it sounds like they're turning more pro-crypto. In the article, they said that it's not likely or not, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, that people are using crypto to evade sanctions. But the only thing they're saying is, hey, if you have a country that exports energy and they cannot do that because of sanctions, they might use that energy to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which, obviously would be good for the Bitcoin network, but bad for sanctions and the countries that are sanctioning them.
They're just realizing this is like a research paper. It's like they're doing intel. They're getting intel on the enemy.
I actually read a majority of the actual report, and I can sense the tide turning in the narrative with the IMF and crypto.
I'm telling you, bro, they're just doing reconnaissance.
They're doing reconnaissance. You have politicians that are slowly starting to sway that way. You have banks that are going to slowly start to sway that way. You have these executives from JP Morgan Chase, the largest hedge funds. It's for one reason, because you can't just dismiss it forever. They're starting to understand Bitcoin crypto is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So you either get left behind because it's going to continue, or you hop on board and figure out a way to carve a little niche of yourself and your business into the cryptocurrency space. That is the power of Bitcoin and crypto, and that's what I love about it.
Do you know what the power of Dogelon Mars is?
Will said it's pumping.
Yeah, pull up my laptop real quick. It's just funny. We don't promote Dogelon Mars here, but you can't help but to laugh at these charts. Like, what is this? Look at that. This is not natural growth. That is just straight up manipulation, in case you're curious what that looks like.
I'm curious to see what they're...
So, yeah, there you go. That's all I got.
What's the ticker for that? Elon?
Elon, yeah. ELON.
Jesus. This thing. Okay, so real quick, since we're on that, pull up my laptop, Eddie.
Good Lord.
All right, so check this out. Look at this move. This is 37% move to the upside. 37. Jesus Christ. All right, we're done with those lawnmowers.
Are you sure?
So okay, so Robin, we have a new crypto fan member in the chat. Will you just real quick give him an hola and I'll give you a backstory.
Neo, hola, welcome, Sin City Crypto.
So he commented on one of our videos and said he was a fan of the video. So Neo, welcome to our crypto fam. He also asked about the XRP Ledger and Songbird, and I told him come to our say hello to our live show today, and we might just talk about it. So at some point, we might talk about the XRP Ledger and Songbird and what it does. So stay tuned. But as of right now, we're going to move on to our very next article. We're talking Russia. Russia could mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to evade sanctions, the IMF warns. And that's literally the first sentence I highlighted. According to the IMF, Russia could rely on many tools to move money outside the traditional financial system. So this article kind of ties into the last article we just talked about. The IMF argues that the government could turn to cryptocurrency mining to, quote, monetize energy resources that cannot be exported. Other sanctioned countries known to have Bitcoin mining facilities and an active crypto community, including Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, and Russia. This is a quote, mining for energy-intensive blockchains like Bitcoin can allow countries to monetize energy resources, some of which cannot be exported due to sanctions. So, put yourself in the shoes of said country that's sanctioned. I mean, is this not the right move? I'm not saying it's the right thing to do or anything, but Robin, isn't this literally what you would do?
You're putting somebody in a position where they have no choice or no option but to use a different monetary system, right? I mean, think of it. If I were to fire somebody at my work, what are they going to do for money? Obviously, if they work here at Sin City,
Depends on where they are. If they're in Vegas,
well, here's the thing. Let's say I run a restaurant, because we come from a restaurant background here, and so I run a restaurant. I fire somebody. They're not going to make any more money from me, right? They can't come in. They can't get a pay raise. They can't get an advance on their paycheck. They're not going to be able to use our healthcare, our health or Medicare or whatever it is. So they go get another job, right? That's their only recourse.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here. You boot somebody off of the dollar system.
That's what I'm saying.
They're going to go somewhere else. That's it. Simple as that.
What do you expect them to do? Just
if
lay
the
down
rest
and
of the world doesn't use the ruble as an example, you kick them out of the dollar, and they're like, "Hey, you guys want to buy this oil? We'll sell it for blah blah blah. For 1,000 ruble." They're like, "Okay, well, we don't have ruble." I'm like, "All right, crap." Yeah. You're like, you take dollars? Like, nah, we got kicked out of that system. Like, what do you think is going to happen? What is the one monetary system not controlled by a government that any nation state can use? Bitcoin, bro. That's it, man. And so this is what's happening. And you know what? You want to sanction, you want to drop sanctions. You know what you can't sanction? The internet. And you know what? You can't sanction the ability to mine. So you know what? Why not? Hey, you know what? We're going to put together a bunch of mining rigs. We're going to mine some Bitcoin. We're going to hodl it. You can't seize it. You can't control it. You can't confiscate it. You know what? Obviously, if I move it onto an exchange, it'll probably get apprehended. However, I can mine it in real time. I can mine it now, and then later I can sell it. Or I can send it directly to another nation state. So let's just say they want to buy some goods from China. They could literally send Bitcoin straight to China. Right?
Yeah.
There's no sanctions from, the US to trade with from the US with Russia to trade with another country. We're just saying, like, you can't trade with us. And then there's a list of countries that did the same thing. However, there's a list of countries that didn't do that. And so if they're trading in the price of dollars, they can't do that any longer. So why not just use a monetary system that everybody has access to? Bitcoin. So there you go.
Yeah. And like I said, not saying that it's a good thing, but like, what are you supposed to do as a country, right? You're Russia. Your biggest moneymaker for your country and your citizens is energy. And you can't export that energy because the countries have sanctioned you. So what do? You just lay down, die, let your people starve? No, you mine Bitcoin, baby. All right. Infinite Crypto. What's up, my man? So, Brad, I know I saw you fractured your leg, my friend. Hope you're feeling okay. Hope they gave you some pain medicine so you don't feel the pain.
You know, one last thing on this article. I've said it before,
I'll say it again.
and it's like my best example. It's like when you break up with that girl in high school, and then you get mad that she's dating somebody else.
Oh,
Like-
you ain't dating nobody if you break up with me. Ain't nobody following my footsteps, baby. Hope my wife is watching. Talking to you.
So yeah, it's like you break up with your girlfriend, and you're like, yeah, you ain't with me no more. No more dollars over here, and then you get mad when she, starts dating somebody from another country.
Ain't nobody
Starts
follow my lead, bro.
yeah, he starts throwing pesos at her.
Whatever kind of pesos. All right, let's move on.
Hey, we're at 19 viewers in the chat. When we get to 30, we're going to open up the club, give out some Bitcoin, which we haven't ran our contest yet, but we will when we get to
Wait, what happened?
to 30 viewers. We haven't ran our giveaway contest entry yet, have we? Or did you?
Like the link?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's up there?
It's in the.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we just got to throw it in the chat.
We'll throw it in the chat when we get up to 25 viewers.
There you
When we start smelling the finish line. Oh, we're at 20 viewers.
All right. So Robin touched on this. El Salvador. Here's the article. El Salvador.
What did I touch?
You touched on the computer.
That's right.
Did you celebrate 420 this morning, Robin?
I did
Sounds like
not,
you did.
man. You know what I do have is this herbal iced tea, though. That's the only herb I've had today. So there we go.
Fair enough. El Salvador's bid for a Bitcoin bond sinking as IMF deal, quote, practically dead. Former central bank president says. No. He's already pumped. Jesus Christ. El Salvador's efforts to harness Bitcoin to boost.
Oh, yeah.
To boost.
Guess what time it is, baby?
Oh, God.
Oh, it's coffee time. How you doing? You got this nice little French press right here.
Okay, all right, Eddie, back to me.
Okay, in case you didn't know, man,
Okay,
whatever you do, don't get dark roast coffee because you're basically burning the coffee. You know, if you like well done steaks, there's always this premise: don't do a well done steak because you're burning it and you lose all the flavor. Same thing with coffee, man.
thank you
Don't
for
go
that,
dark roast.
Robin.
Go medium roast, maybe
Yes.
even a light to
Okay.
medium roast.
All right.
Blonde is just not enough. You need a little bit of
Okay.
char on there.
All right. Thank you so much, Robin. El Salvador's efforts to harness Bitcoin to boost its economy are falling short of what the Bitcoin maximalists had hoped for. Speaking on Monday with ElSalvador.com, Carlos Acevedo, who served under Mauricio Funes from 2009 to 2013.
Does this bother you?
It does, because I'm trying to read the article. Said that stubbornly chasing a Bitcoin-based solution has cost the country dearly, quote, killing relations with the IMF and making such a bond issuance virtually impossible. The negotiation with the fund is practically dead. It would need to be revived, Acevedo said, referring to the country's efforts to renegotiate its debt with the IMF. President Nayib Bukele, who assumed power in 2019, is seeking $1 billion in Bitcoin bonds, also known as the volcano bonds, those public debt securities, which would pay an annual interest rate of 6.5% and have a 5-year lockup, would be secured with Bitcoin instead of fiat. Although some Bitcoin backers initially seemed excited by the idea, it's somewhat contradictory investment strategy. Government bonds typically are considered safe investments because they're low risk, low volatility, which is the opposite of what Bitcoin is at the current moment, which a significant drop in the price of Bitcoin would mean a strong possibility of a default. So, Robin, first give me your initial thoughts, and there's a couple questions I want to ask you about this.
Well, once again, IMF seems to be the player behind the shortfall. And you know what? If they just helped out El Salvador and they just helped them issue out their Bitcoin bonds, it's literally the only thing stopping this whole train. This is a project put together by the government and Max Kaiser. I know he had a lot of influence in it. He was the one that supposedly coined the volcano bonds kind of thing. And I don't, you know what, this exact iteration of it might be dead. This bond, the issuance of the volcano bonds, this one might be dead. However,
You think
at
so?
some point, whether this gets revived or they just restructure it, I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to create a new Bitcoin bond, and I think they're going to structure it in a way that makes it a little bit easier for foreign nation states or investors or big banks to invest. And you know what? the fact that the price of Bitcoin has been kind of consolidating all year hasn't really helped them. It's the same way that you're like, the retail investors aren't investing in Bitcoin right now. They're like, well, I could get a lot more gains with this or that. So as a nation state, as a central bank, as a huge investor, you might not be investing in El Salvador's Bitcoin bonds for the simple fact that Bitcoin hasn't really moved, at least not in the last year and a half. So that's a contributing factor. And not to mention, El Salvador's economy is pretty small. They have, I think, 8 million people for their population. So, there's a lot of states here in the U.S. that are way more populous. I think they might have the same amount of population in L.A. as they do in El Salvador. Not exactly sure on those stats, but it's at least comparable. I know that. And so, with that said,
would you buy one of these bonds, Robin?
If I was a nation state and it was frowned upon, or it was really not the option of buying Bitcoin wasn't on the table, or I was a central bank and the option of buying Bitcoin is not on the table. However, I have access to bonds issued by another government. If that's on the table and Bitcoin is not on the table, then yes.
It's a lot of stipulations.
Well,
so what do you say about the whole government bonds are meant to be more secure, more stable, and you have Bitcoin backing these bonds, which is not stable.
But here's the thing: the government bonds
Can it work?
they're yes, it will. The government bonds are backed by the government, so you're pretty much guaranteed your interest unless the government defaults, and that's kind of another gray area. Is like, hey, the IMF is shunning El Salvador, and because they're shunning El Salvador, people are like, hey man, maybe they'll default on their debt, maybe they'll their economy might collapse. There's a lot of ifs, and so if that is on the table, if that's a possibility, are you gonna invest billions and billions of dollars into another nation that may default? It's a possibility. It's on the table.
Definitely on the table. All right, interesting article. So next article we're going to talk about is going to actually be a video. So the title of this is U.S. Secret Service Crackdown on Crypto. So let's go ahead and pull this up. And here we go.
Hold on, pause it. I don't think you have a sound on.
Checking the technicals here, guys. Have some patience. We good? All right. Let me rewind it here for you, my friends. All right.
On the blockchain, which is the public ledger for all crypto transactions.
The Secret Service is now the primary agency investigating the illicit use of digital assets.
David Smith is Assistant Director of the Office of Investigations.
One of the guiding principles of the blockchain is that it was a public ledger that's shared, and everyone with a little bit of computing power has access to it, to include law enforcement. So the Secret Service isn't doing anything that wasn't the original intent of the blockchain. We're just using the same tracking and tracing mechanisms that were intended.
So would you say that crypto is actually more traceable than good old-fashioned cash for a criminal?
In many ways it is.
So far, the numbers are staggering. The agency has seized more than $102 million worth of crypto in 254 cases. Here we see analysts and special agents examining Bitcoin wallet addresses.
So they're just making correlations and seeing where the hotspots are, or like a heat map, if you will, to see where the illicit activity is occurring, and then focusing on those areas. Because one of the things that is in the benefit of the bad guys is the volume of activity that's occurring out there.
Are you using the same kind of software that all the rest of us have access to?
When you follow a digital currency wallet, it's no different than an email address that has some correlating identifiers. And once a person and another person make a transaction, and that gets into the blockchain, we have the ability to follow that email address or wallet address, if you will, and trace it through the blockchain.
Criminals frequently use techniques to obscure the digital money, something Smith compares to a house of mirrors.
All of them exist.
All right. So, interesting. Secret Service in the U.S. is now helping I'm assuming the Department of Justice or whoever, cyber sector. They're helping crack down on crypto scams, and you can see like that video was literally inside the Secret Service headquarters where they do all this stuff. So
It's not that secret if they were in there, huh?
but you can see he talks about the same way you trace emails is the same way you can trace wallet addresses. So can we finally put to rest this BS narrative of only bad actors use cryptocurrency? Bullshit. More bad is done with cash than with cryptocurrency. Robin, what are your thoughts?
You know, what I took away from this, and you know, other articles that
The man was sweating a lot.
Was he sweating a lot?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to that. Actually, listening to what he was saying, not what he was looking like.
I was paying attention to both. This is something called multitasking.
Yeah, so he basically was leveraging the fact that you could just follow the money trail. And because everything is transparent, he said it is like just like an email address. You just follow where it goes. I mean, imagine the difficulty. If I were to say, hey, David, I want you to find this criminal. And he bought some illegal, we'll say guns. Let's just say he bought a bunch of assault rifles illegally. And he bought it with $1 million worth of cash in a suitcase. This happened 3 years ago. Do you think you'd be able to find?
Hell no.
Hell
no.
You think
That's
you'd
what
be able
I'm
to?
saying, bro. That's what
And
I'm
this
saying.
this is by the government. This is the preferred way of finding bad actors and money laundering. They're like, hey, whoa, Bitcoin's bad. Like illegal people, illegal activity. Bitcoin bad. And so said scenario, $1 million in cash, impossible to trace. Impossible. And then if you use Bitcoin, literally there's a freaking trail no matter where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next time I hear anyone say, crypto's only used for bad people do bad things, show them the Secret Service video and my man sweating over here. All right.
You know what? I got something I wanted to talk about here. Since we're in the video mood here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my laptop there. So real estate. Buy a property from inside the metaverse. So this was a cool article I ran into, and it is so you have your real estate that you have in the metaverse, right? That's one thing, like buying land in Decentraland. Now you have here is basically a 3D model or a replica of a building or said retail space or residential, whatever it is. Anyway, commercial. Anyways, you have a building, you want to showcase it, and instead of having to do a tour in person, you just have the people come by and tour it with a VR headset. And so I think this is an emerging space. I think this is something. Future. I think this is going to be something that happens normally because when people just don't forget, one of the biggest investment sectors in the world is the retail sector. And think about it.
Retail or real estate?
Excuse me. I keep saying retail. The real estate sector. And so if you look at, like, say, you know, all those condos in New York, tons of condos getting rented out by people that don't live in New York.
Yeah.
So let's just say you live in China. This is very common. People in China, they're into real estate, and they will rent or purchase a condo in New York City. Now think about it. They have more than one condo, and so they don't have time to go down there and visit each condo every time they go to buy one. They have a portfolio of real estate. And so the fact that you can just do this from the comfort of your own home, and you can tour and have your real estate agent there by your side, pretty revolutionary. Now,
not only that, but imagine the amount of time and money it's going to save these real estate firms. And on top of that, provide a pretty cool experience for the consumer.
Okay. So here, I'm going to share this.
Robin, wait.
What's up? What's up?
So we have a new guy, and he's huge in the metaverse. Will you give him an hola, please?
Nordy, hola, welcome, Sin City Crypto. Right on time for the metaverse stuff. All right, so this is a little promo video here. I'm just going to show this one, and then I'll show you a different one. Probably is. Who knows? This is all real time, by the way. So this isn't like a CG kind of thing. This is actual like what it looks like. The city is Seattle. It's already built out. I'm assuming this is Seattle. So anyways, that's the intro. So you get a little glimpse of it, but taking a look at this video, I just want to show this. This one doesn't have any sound. That's the only reason I wanted to show the other one. So I'm just going to narrate this as though I'm the
8 minutes.
I'm not showing the whole damn thing, man. Calm down. So as you can see here, you can kind of get a tour of your houses. They also got some little bins out there. So they have this world completely built out. And so I'm pretty sure it's a replica of Seattle. But the cool thing is that you can see here you have, let me find this building here. So you can walk around, you can go stroll the streets. But what I found interesting was that you can also take a look at the map and see where the
Internet's loading.
Yeah, so you can see where like different points of interest. You can kind of take a tour of the city, and then here this is your real estate pad here, and so you can see what it looks like throughout the day.
So, Eddie, is your mic on? Turn your mic on.
Yeah, Eddie invests in real estate.
So, Eddie, you flip houses. You invest in real estate. Okay, so with everything you do, you don't, right or wrong, you don't have time to go look at every single house. Yes.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay.
So you just kind of get the assumption of what's the best house, and then you go check those out, but you don't go waste your time and look at everything.
Like, how much would this help you if you could literally just put on a headset from your house and tour the house in real time and see everything in it, and not have to drive there, get the key, someone's not there, there's whatever the case may be. Like,
yeah, it's dope. I like the idea. It's the only issue would be is like as a flipper, when you're looking at this standpoint, obviously these are probably going to be like remodeled homes, upgraded. But when you're flipping a house, you want to see like what's wrong with it completely.
Yeah.
So if it's like a virtual.
So for this one, it seems to be for new real estate. So the idea behind this one is that they're gonna build a building, right? And they're gonna rent out office space. So basically, yeah, like the 25th floor would be an example. And in the 25th floor, you can see what the view would look like, how the floor plan is going to look like, even though the building hasn't even been built yet.
that's cool.
And so here, let me
The
see.
fact that you could see everything like that, like you can't even find that. Like you could go to like Google Maps, but how it looks and you can
How
actually
detailed?
see like the
There was-
area, like helps so much.
There was one other part here. I should have notated the times here, but
You should have.
there was one other part here I did want to show. It might be in the beginning here, but anyways,
I know a lot of realtors in Vegas, and Dave, more recently than over the last, I'd say 3-4 months, I've been getting random text messages from people I've known, not necessarily close with, but saying, "Hey, what do you know about this metaverse stuff? Do you really think real estate is going that way?" And so, if I have time, I'll have a 5-10 minute conversation with them. And this is kind of just goes to show, like, I think real estate is such an easy market that crypto and blockchain could penetrate, and it would just seamlessly integrate together. And I think that's why we're seeing real estate kind of at the forefront now. One of the major sectors being all right.
it's kind of dope. Yeah. Anyways, just to wrap it up, it does say they show potential buyers through the properties that are yet to be built, and then buyers enter with avatars. They can do many things in the real world. They can kind of see where different things are in the area too. So, anyways, that's all I got.
I want to talk Cardano. So, Eddie, pull up my laptop. 400 new projects and 100,000 new wallets in a month on Cardano. Activity on the Cardano blockchain is starting to heat up with 400 new projects in the works, along with 100,000 new wallets being created over the past month. According to a Tuesday Twitter post from Cardano creators IOHK, there are nearly 900 projects in development on the network. The figure has grown by roughly 400 since March 11th. This is the tweet from them. And then towards the bottom here, despite increasing numbers of projects in development, the number of decentralized apps up and running on Cardano appears to be limited, with DeFi Llama listing just 10 different platforms, accounting for 224, I'm assuming that's $1 million, not $224, worth of total value locked. Charles Hoskinson recently suggested in a video posted to his YouTube channel that the tide could soon turn with the upcoming Vassal hard fork upgrade in June. He stated that it will provide, quote, a massive performance improvement to Cardano and its smart contract capabilities. The number of ADA wallets has increased by 100,000 since March 22nd, and the total figure now stands at 3.268 million wallets. Robin, we keep hearing Cardano is doing this, Cardano is doing that. All this is happening. Well, when the freak are we going to get over this $100.50 mark, bro? What the hell wrong with you, Cardano? Robin?
If you are invested, keyword invested in a project long term, the price movement in 1 year shouldn't be your go-to judgment if the project is fundamentally sound or a good investment. If you're going to invest, you should be looking in a 3 to 4 year time window. Let's take a look at where Cardano has been in the last 3 years. In case you're wondering,
Please don't do TA.
not. Okay, good. So this is the let's see here. This is the 3 year chart. Looking at my laptop here. So
That's your key, Eddie.
this is the 3 year chart. Okay, so not even no. Let's see. So if you would have bought and held Cardano from 2019 to now, you could have bought it at 10 cents for an entire year, and you'd be sitting at
9x.
a 9x right now.
Terrible.
And
9x in
if
3 years.
if you believe in the project long term,
I believe in the project.
this right here will happen again. This little this window that we're here, this leg will look like this leg.
Well, that's literally what we're doing right now.
This leg will look like this leg in 3 years, okay? So if you're not happy with the returns that you get in 3 months, you know what? I was talking to somebody, they were looking to get in some projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're like, what do you like? And I'm like, hey, man, Cardano, very promising.
Shit, bro.
I'm like, very promising. Get out of here with that shit. So I'm like, Cardano, very promising. And so they listened to my input and they made their own decision and they decided to get some Cardano. Okay.
We're good to cover your base.
Yeah. So lo and behold, 2 or 3 months later, they come up to me and they're just like, hey, what's going on? They're like, and literally the next thing out of their mouth was the same thing you said. They were like, I should have just invested in SHIB. And I was like,
Do I know this person, don't I?
yeah.
I know this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And they're like, I should have just invested in SHIB. And it was a lady.
Does the name start with a B?
No.
J?
No.
A, B, C, D? E?
Oh, yeah, B. Yeah, it does start with a B. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking
So, anyways, I'm just like, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, well, what did you expect to get out in 3 months? I'm just curious. Like,
yeah, I'll agree with you. That is, people are extremely impatient. Of course, no news story is going to say, oh, SHIB holders on average are gaining 2% a month. No, they're going to cover the person who literally got so ass lucky, bought the bottom, and immediately it skyrocketed 800%. That's the story they're going to cover, and that's where you're going to hear.
If you went to work, okay,
it just doesn't happen. It's not practical.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you went to work and somebody at your work was like, hey, man, you know what? I've put in $3,000 in this 401k, and I ain't seen shit from it in the last 3 months.
You'd laugh at him.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, you know why? Because it's an investment into your future, into your retirement. If you're looking to break away from the traditional system and get away from that whole model, and you want to invest in the new monetary system, then that's crypto. Invest for the long term, because that's how it is. Invest like it's a 401k. Like, here's a question. Bitcoin, will it hit $500,000 in the next 15 years?
Hell to the yeah, brother.
Will it hit $1 million in the next 15 years?
Hell to the yeah, brother.
Will you live 15 years?
I hope so. That's up to
Okay,
God,
so there you go. And so in 15 years, you pretty much, general consensus, I agree, you agree, I think most of our viewers agree, $1 million Bitcoin, and I extremely undershooting. I'm just going on a super safe bet. But even on a super safe, conservative view, 15 years from now, $1 million. So that is, what is that? How many X's
so if you
is
bought
that?
half of,
so that's
a lot of X's.
That's a 20X? 22X?
25X.
25X. So you got a 25X.
Here's the thing, bro.
So if you put $10,000 into Bitcoin, you don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. That's a big conception.
You'll have $250,000.
$250,000 off a $10,000 investment. Yeah. Let me ask you something. How much return are you going to get on $10,000 on your 401k?
Not a lot.
Maybe 13,000?
Yeah. I agree. Now, let me ask you this question. What about, can you see a $20 million Bitcoin?
I think more realistic, I think $8 to $10 million when nation states are holding it.
Guys, imagine this, okay? And it's going to happen. It's already happening. If you have one Bitcoin and Bitcoin is at $1 million, you will have access to $900,000 without ever selling your Bitcoin, without ever having to go to a bank, without ever having a credit check, your income, blah, 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 blah. Like, imagine that much power in your hand versus in the bank's hand. That alone should excite you. Like, I've set up a Bitcoin account for my kids. I weekly buy Bitcoin no matter what the price is, and I put it on a hardware wallet. I don't care.
You know, here, we keep talking about Bitcoin. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, "Are you guys a Bitcoin channel?" Y'all, and here's the thing. And I started thinking about it, and this was my thought. I look at, I'm a crypto guy. First and foremost, I'm a crypto guy, but my investment strategy for the most part follows the market cap list. So think about it. Number 1, Bitcoin. Number 2, Ethereum. Number 3, Binance. Actually, I'm not invested in Binance, but
you should.
I should. You're invested in Binance, but for the most part, that's kind of what it looks like, because as you go down the list, it's a little bit more risk, but more upside. But the least risky is going to be the Bitcoin. And you know what? I've been here saying, I really do believe that Bitcoin is going to outperform the market when nation states start scooping it up. It's going to become, like right now, it's like investing in copper. Be like, hey man, the price of copper has been exploding. Be like, well, don't sleep on don't sleep on gold. Like, well, people are using copper for their cable wires, automotive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make an argument that copper has got more utility than gold. I think it probably does. However, a better store of value is gold.
You know what, Robin?
What's up?
Your analogies are fucking spot on, bro.
Which is crazy. But we all understand that.
Yeah. No,
would you rather hold copper or gold long term? Gold. Exactly. And so that's where I'm at. And you know what? Like you might get more utility out of other projects, but
like Bandela L says, Bitcoin got that digital gold. All right. So real quick before I move on, Marky Mark wanted to know, can we where'd ADA go from here? $3 max? $3 is definitely not the max.
No.
I believe this to be a $250 trillion project in the next 3 to 5 years, which would put 250 billion.
Cardano's sitting at a $31 billion market cap. So that would be it just should be about 8x.
8 to $10. I would say in the next 3 to 5 years, if I were to take a guess. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to EU. I'm trying to figure out which ones I do because we're not going to be able to do them all. But EU citizens strongly oppose CBDCs. But what about crypto? The European Central Bank has been researching and discussing a CBDC project called the Digital Euro for a while, and the feedback has been extremely negative. People want their payments to remain private, to which the bank stated that, quote, a completely anonymous digital euro is not desirable. Of course it's not. So far, over 11,000 European citizens have participated, and the general feeling is that a digital euro would be a tool for totalitarian measures and a further restriction of citizens' rights because, quote, it will be possible to disconnect anyone from the source of money, as they have recently shown us in Canada. So, Robin, do you agree with the people of Europe that it would put too much control in the government's hands. And essentially, they'll have the power to do what Canada did.
Yeah, the thing is there's no difference between a CBDC and the regular monetary system. The only difference is instead of it transacting through the Swift payment network, instead of it going through an outdated network, it just goes through a blockchain network. And it doesn't even need to theoretically be a blockchain. It could be a hierarchical graph that Hedera hash graph uses. The graph also uses. So anyways, that's probably more than likely because it's a little bit more scalable, a little faster. Either way, without going into big detail on how the technology works, just know that CBDC is pretty much the same thing as the system that we have now, except for it just moves faster and it's easily traceable.
On the blockchain.
And it's easily traceable, or a graph.
So think about it that way, right? Do you want your government to essentially not change anything and just have more control over what you're spending your money on? So, I'm with the people of Europe. All right, we're moving on. So this is we didn't get to read this yesterday, but this is pretty interesting. So the godfather of crypto, Mr. Andre Cronje, the founder of Yearn Finance, one of the main people behind Phantom. He's very well respected, and he left the crypto space. This was a couple months ago. He left Phantom, left Yearn. And he penned a letter called Crypto is Dead, or called The Rise and Fall of Crypto. And I'm going to read it in its entirety, and it's not that long. Crypto is dead. Long live crypto. I wish I was older. I wish I was old enough to see the birth of monetary policy. I wish I could have seen the mistakes they had made because I believe we are repeating them. I often feel that a lot of what is being built in crypto is being built by people that read a Wikipedia article on bonds or seigniorage or debt instruments and then thought to themselves they can do this better. It's something that happens often in coding. You find a fresh piece of code written by another organization or developer. You quickly start finding faults. Quote, this isn't needed. This could have been done better. Why did they do this? It's pointless. And then starts the I can do this better. So you spend the next few days, weeks, even months re-engineering the code. Then you hit your first wall and you have to make some adjustments. Then your second, then your third, and so on. And eventually your code looks exactly like their code did. And you have that, oh, right, that's why moment. And you finally understand why it is what it was. Monetary policy is the same. Understanding monetary supply, issuance, debt, bonds, seigniorage, debentures, commodities, securities, derivatives can't be viewed in isolation. They exist for a reason. But crypto is a new generation, the generation of we can do it better. And I'm going to scroll down here. A professor once told me contracts are there for the bad times, not the good times. Regulation and legislation is the same. They are there for the bad times when you most need it, not the good times when it's all honeymoon and champagne. And then he goes on to say, crypto is dead. Long live crypto. We are entering a new age. The current iteration will become the Badlands, where unknown wallets lurk in the shadows. We will see the rise of a new blockchain economy, not one driven by greed, but instead driven by trust, not trustlessness. There is an irony in having come full circle, yet I find myself more excited than ever. I won't step foot into the Badland again, but I'm vastly excited about this new future. So, pretty interesting. Robin, what are your kind of initial thoughts on Mr. Cronje and what he's talking about?
Sounds like a man that's frustrated. I think honestly, he sounds okay. Here's the thing. You don't know who Andre Cronje is? He's the founder of lots of different automated market makers and DeFi platforms. So he's kind of the one that wrote the code for like staking and lending and things like that. So anyways, that's what he's known for. He's a DeFi guy. And he exited, he was last working with Phantom, and he exited, and we haven't really heard from him in the last couple months. And then, lo and behold, he's all like, hey, man, I got out of the game because I don't like where the space is going. There's no regulation. I think, it's a double-edged sword, which is kind of what I got from the regulation aspect, right? You don't really want it, but you need it, but, you don't like it.
Like you said, it's there for the bad times, not the good times.
Yeah. But wait, here's the thing. It's there for the bad times. So when shit hits the fan and a company is like, hey, man, I can either cut my losses and just take all the money from the investors. I could cut my losses because I'm still in profit, but I can see, let's just say you're a new blockchain or you're a newer blockchain. and you see that, well, first of all, you're in the green, but you're in the red as far as all-time highs, as an example. So let's just say your project went from $1 billion market cap and you're sitting at 15 million. And your initial investment was $1 million. You're like, hey, man, I made a 15x. This thing has collapsed. I got no community. It's probably not going to be revived. I can just cut my losses, screw all the investors that are currently still holding, and then I can just ride off to the sunset. And there's no accountability for that. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And so that, I think, is his biggest frustration. I think the fact that you can simply close up shop and take all the cash on hand is wrong. And I think that is probably what he's talking about when it comes to regulation. Because when things get bad and these companies lose money, they decide, they have a decision at hand. They're like, hey, do I close this thing up and take my cash or what? So anyways, regulation isn't a bad thing. It holds people accountable. And it says, hey, if my company goes under, I need to pay my debts, or I need to give people's fair share back.
Yeah.
And so that's that.
I just think people are worried about the type of regulation, right? Our politicians, not just in the U.S. but across the world, we can't say with confidence that they're looking out for our best interest. They're supposed to, but they don't. So I think that we all agree. I'm assuming
every major branch of government, every major sector of retail, every major sector of investing, everything that has huge financial implications has regulation. So this pipe dream that hey, this is DeFi, leave it alone. That's not real. It's not real. It's not realistic. And you know what? Bitcoin might be an exception for the simple fact that Satoshi created it and just left it alone. He was like, here's my gift to you guys. It's Bitcoin. And it does its own thing. And so for that reason, there's no company that controls it. There's no Satoshi Corporation or Inc. that can make decisions that are profiting, that can change the code. Essentially, he just built Bitcoin, he launched the thing, and now it's its own little entity. It's essentially a commodity. It's a resource. And so you can buy and sell it, and nobody can really manipulate it as far as what the parameters are. You can manipulate the price, but so anyways, yeah. Somebody in the chat mentioned earlier, I was reading, they were asking, it was Mahi. He said, any game like Parlay, didn't join that yet. So with the blockchain Parlay, for those of you that have been around for more than a couple weeks, blockchain Parlay was a contest we ran with the community here, where you'd pick two projects. We started growing a lot, and it ended up being pretty taxing on us to do it every week. So we're restructuring our blockchain parlay to be a month-long contest. Just give us a couple weeks or a few weeks. We'll launch the new blockchain parlay instead of it being a week to week basis. Just a little too much to keep track of everybody. And so we're gonna do a new format, 1 month. So anyways, that's in the pipeline. It's coming. So and then we got somebody new in here. We got Piranha. Hola, welcome, Sin City Crypto. What's up?
Piranha?
I don't know. That's what I'm going with, bro. So,
isn't that like a bar in Vegas or something, or a nightclub?
Oh, that is a yeah.
Anyways, we're done with our talking points. So we're moving on to our very last segment, our market analysis.
Let's go.
All right, so Neo, if you're still in here, say hi. Okay.
Well, then also on contest, we do still have our daily contest. All we gotta do is get to 30 people. So we still giving out that cashola, baby.
30 viewers. We open up the club. We hand out $25 in Bitcoin. Let's go. All right, so taking a gander here at the markets, just to kind of revisit real quick. So we are down almost 0.5% overall. Bitcoin's down to 41,000. ETH over 3, and then Avalanche. So Avalanche $77. This is one I want to do some TA on. Don't mind this chart. That's the Dogelon Mars chart. But I got an Avalanche pulled up here, And let me go to the daily chart. So this is a very, it's a very large and a very long, but still it's an ascending triangle. So making higher lows, essentially same highs. And typically these break to the upside. And so if we're taking a look here and we look at the candles, right? So we're seeing medium-sized bodies, not a lot of wicks. So we're kind of in consolidation here. And if I throw on the Heikin-Ashi candles, kind of shows us a better view of the overall trend. It's more clean looking, and you can see we've just turned green over the last couple days. And as long as these bodies get bigger, typically signals a nice uptrend. And if I scoot over here to cryptostackers.com, I like to do kind of the same thing Forrest does, is you kind of slap on the easy bands first to see where you're at as far as being oversold or overbought, kind of in the middle. And then as far as the 20-day moving average, we're trading below it. So if I take those off and we put on the margin pressure levels, it kind of tells us where people are buying and selling. So you can see here, this is the margin short levels. So you can see between a 3x and the local high, we kind of have this channel. Even if you drop down to the 2x, it's been pretty good support. You can see here back in February and then also back in March 13th. So we're at those levels now, and we're kind of consolidating at those levels. So if I were to look into getting into Avalanche as far as swing trading, I would feel comfortable getting in at this price point. If I take this away and I put on the sunset lines, which give us our risk to reward. And if I...
real quick, while you're pulling up the lines, I just want to say, hola, Bennett. Welcome.
Ben?
Bennett.
So, Bennett. Welcome to the Crypto Fan, Bennett. So, sunset lines, Forrest created this. This essentially tells you the risk to reward if you were to enter a trade at this price point. And you can see we're at the 2-to-1 risk to reward right now on a long. And then even on this 3-to-1, you can see we wick down here, we bounce right back up. So if you were to get into an Avalanche trade at current prices, $78, you could expect a return of 2-to-1. So again, Avalanche, if you're looking to swing trade, which if you're new to crypto, I would not recommend. It is pretty dangerous trying to swing trade and scalp profits. But if you're comfortable doing it, $78, pretty decent entry point. Something that I'm looking to do, and I probably will do as soon as we get off. I want to take a look at the Bitcoin order book. So this is cryptometer.io. So overall Bitcoin metrics, we're literally almost split right down the middle. 48,590 Bitcoin being bought and 49,474 being sold. If you take a look down here, if we look at the last 1 hour, right down the middle, except on Bitflyer, BitThumb, you have 68% of the Bitcoin is being bought. And if you look here at the 4 hour, more of a, I don't want to say macro, but more of a long-term horizon. Binance, right down the middle. Same thing with Binance US. Bitfinex, there's more being sold and bought. BitThumb, again, more being bought. And then Bittrex, Bybit, Coinbase Pro, right down the middle, 44 to 55. So we're seeing more Bitcoin overall being sold than being bought. And so that... When you split 50-50, right? I mean, it's pretty common sense when you think about it. If the same amount of people are buying and the same amount of people are selling, you have channels. You have capitulation. You have no big moves, no volatility. So it's kind of just accumulating. And so that's what we're doing with Bitcoin. Like Robin said, we're going to bounce between $40 and $42,000. Now, I definitely think we will break under 40,000, but accumulating, it'll be between 40 and 42. I'll feel comfortable saying that the Bitcoin uptrend is back when we cross 52,000 and we stay there for 2 to 3 days. If that happens, then I'll be more than happy to say the Bitcoin bull trend is back. So yes. And then one thing I want to take a look at is the NFT market. So I'm not sure if you're into NFTs. I'm pretty big into NFTs. I love NFTs, and the market has been absolutely brutal. You can see here this chart. This dates back to August of 2021. At the peak of the NFT market, we were at $338 million in daily volume. The most recent high was here in January of this year, $263 million in daily volume. And we are at $189,000 in volume recently. You can see it's literally flatlined since the beginning of March. And the only projects that are really making any money are the Bored Apes, the Mutant Apes, the Zookies, the super blue chip ones. So if you're down on your NFT portfolio, it's literally everyone except with the exception of 3 or 4 NFT projects. So will it bounce back? Absolutely. As more money flows in, as the daily volume starts growing, these NFT projects that you have money in will grow with it. So just the landscape sucks right now, and it is what it is. We've been in this bear market. I mean, literally, like when I talk about the NFT market being way more volatile, I mean, look at this. Going from 12 million to 263 million in a matter of 12 days. I mean, in a matter of 6 days. If that's not volatility, I don't know what is. So that's all I got.
What's up, bro?
That's it.
Cool.
What are you doing talking shit? What is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No. Why are you talking about yourself like that, man?
One more thing.
What's up?
Tomorrow, we have a very special guest. Emmy Award winner Natalie Brunell will be joining us live to talk about Bitcoin, the landscape of Bitcoin, and just to hang out with us. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. So make sure you guys come tomorrow. That'll happen at 10:45 a.m. Vegas time, so 15 minutes into our live stream. Super excited for that. Also, go watch our newest deep dive we just posted, crypto.com. Like the video, share the video, comment, whatever you do. Don't watch 2 minutes and click out. It's bad for retention.
So here's a proposal the chat has brought up, and we've discussed about it before. But what do you think about changing our Open the Club to likes versus active viewers? I feel like we gotten past this active viewer thing, right?
I don't know. Then you can just come in, like it, and leave.
But I mean, that's actually not a bad thing. I mean, essentially, because you're going to get a like, promotes the video, blah, blah, blah.
I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment.
So our people want money, man. They're here for the cash.
You'll get the cash, don't worry. Someone mentioned earlier, they said you don't have to super chat to get your comments read. True. But as we grow, I don't know.
David's over here. What are you, threatening people?
No. Just kidding.
He's like, look, man.
Get it while it can. Comment while you can. Get it while it's hot. XRP question. Once the case settles, we know XRP will pop, or will it? Question is, will they let us make money? So Robin's got a, you want to give a quick take before we sign off to our friend Marky Mark?
Here we are not even the biggest fan of XRP, honestly. I think XRP is it's old software. It's not even that fast. They've been lacking on partnerships for the simple fact that they've been removed from the game for the last 2 years. And so I don't even really believe in the project long term, honestly.
Well, they do have their XRP ledger, and they're spending a lot of money bringing in talent to build on their XRP ledger platform.
But, huge but here, though. If you're looking to make money short term, it's probably the best project to get into.
Short-term?
I
Why
think
short term?
Because the court case will probably settle within the next 6 months.
I would say medium to long term.
You consider medium 6 months? Yeah. Anyways, the court case will be done within 6 months. Maybe. And more than likely 3 or 4 months. And when it does, XRP will be listed back on exchanges. And because it gets listed back on exchanges, there's going to be a huge surplus or buy of the XRP token to provide liquidity. There's also going to be the FOMO of people that are like, oh my God, XRP, blah, blah, blah. They won the court case or they settled or whatever it is. It's available. And so just from the sheer liquidity aspect, you're going to get a 3X. I mean, easily. Just because every DEX or, and every exchange are going to be scooping up XRP. There's going to be all these freaking articles. Every YouTuber's going to be talking about it. They're going to be like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have the FOMO. You're looking at, I would say realistically, $5 XRP. So I think the fact that you can take, what is it, 80 cents right now? Something like that?
77.
77 cents. and you can pretty much
74
get
cents.
you can get like an 8x on that thing, and within a year. And I feel extremely comfortable with those returns. Now, do I believe in the project? Do I believe in Brad Garlinghouse?
Garlinghouse.
Whatever his name is. That's how much I don't believe.
Take it and run, he said. Yes, take it and run.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's a great buy. I wouldn't put a lot of money into it because I mean, you never know. I mean, the court case could go the other way. You remember?
I don't think so.
The SEC is a branch of the U.S. government, and they're in court within a branch of the U.S. government. So just think of it that way, man.
Yeah.
You're basically getting sued by a government, and you're sitting in the courthouse of the government. You know, think of it this way:
checks and balances. Bro.
Would you feel comfortable going to court in North Korea? You wouldn't get. Right? Because the prosecutor is North Korean, the government is North Korean. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, but I'm saying that's the extreme. Yeah. But the same ideology here. You know what I'm saying? You have the U.S. Branch of the U.S. government taking you to court in another branch of the U.S. government. So I'm just saying, don't think it's impossible that the SEC wins this thing.
Ain't nothing impossible.
Yeah, so
except getting through the robbery.
There is risk there, but I feel comfortable with the risk. I have XRP. I probably will. I don't know if I'll buy more.
I got a little XRP, nothing crazy.
I have a good amount of XRP, and I got that little window where I'm just like, hey man, this is how much I'm cool physically losing, or personally losing, not getting anything back.
Losing.
Yeah,
physically you are a loser. With that being said, Eddie, roll the outro song, please. Want to thank you all for joining us today on our live show. Please make sure you come back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Vegas time, for our next live stream. Check out crypto.com. Share the video. Like the video. Comment what you think. A lot of time and effort goes into those for you guys to educate our community. Either way, we love you guys. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Eddie, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D turned into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking